Hello, this is Andrew Cuesta, Valerie Gonzalez, Jusesmi Ramos, Ricardo Tostado, and we are presenting on our extinct language and the people that spoke it, the Ainu.
The Ainu culture. Ainu were hunters and gatherers until they were introduced to agriculture. The Ainu clothing was relatively the same all around. It only differed when it came to patterns. Patterns showed gender, status, and the village they were from. The men were allowed to grow long beards, and only the women were allowed to have tattoos, and they were looked down upon by the Japanese because of this. The Ainu also had arranged marriages. However, either of the betrothed could denounce the union and they would not be forced into the marriage. On this slide, I have also put pictures to depict my main points. In the first picture, you can see a young Ainu girl drawing her poisonous bow ready to strike her prey. The second picture depicts a man with two women. While they each have similar robes, their patterns all differ. The third picture depicts a man with a long beard and a woman with tattoos. And the fourth picture depicts a young Ainu couple sitting down during their wedding ceremony.
When it comes to the Ainu people, the majority actually reside in Japan's northernmost island of Hokkaido. This area is very dense in forests and it is surrounded by a lot of nature. This nature includes wildlife such as bears, salmon, venison, predatory birds, and many others. For the most part, this area stays very cool during summers, and the winters are harsh and very cold.
The decline of the Ainu people, culture, and language is the result of the Japanese government forcibly assimilating the Ainu people into their society. In order to create an ethnically homogeneous population, in the Meiji era, the Japanese government enacted the Hokkaido Former Aborigine Protection Act, which offered land to the Ainu people on Hokkaido if they followed the condition of developing on it agriculturally. The Ainu people were not typically an agricultural society, so many of them did not do this, and their land was taken back from them by the Japanese government. In addition to that, the Japanese also constructed schools on Hokkaido on Ainu land for Ainu children, but forbade the students from speaking their native language in favor of teaching them Japanese. The Ainu people were also socially pressured to abandon their traditional clothings, customs, anything non-typically Japanese in order to further assimilate them into Japanese society. Any Ainu people who left their Ainu community to go anywhere else in Japan were stripped on paper of their Ainu status by the Japanese government. All of these factors led to a dwindling number of people speaking and teaching the Ainu language until the end of the Meiji era, where there were only a handful of monolingual Ainu speakers left. Within the next few decades, there would be less than 20 Ainu speakers who were fluent in the language, and by the 1930s, the language would be considered extinct.
Here we have vocabulary samples of the Ainu language. We start with numbers. We have the numbers 1 through 10. Notice you try to find something that you understand in there, from our Latin, but it's completely different. You might think the re sounds like three, I suppose. Next we have phrases. Here we have a couple of pages. Next we have another page of phrases. Now we have colors. We have red, black, white, gold, silver, and the colors yellow, green, and blue all fall into the same category with the Ainu people. Next we have people. I liked this slide. Here, if you notice some similarities, both father and uncle are, as you can see here, Acha. Where else did we see? Ancestor. Notice here, ancestor, Ekashi, is also the same as grandfather. So there's some things, ancestor is the same as grandfather. It's kind of like sort of a respect thing. And our final slide in vocabulary is animals. We have dog, cat, fish, bird, bear, whale, eagle, fox, wolf. At the Ainu were pretty spiritual people, so they were probably saying these words. I think some of these are kind of like nicknames, kind of like shortcut type words. Thank you very much.
Interesting facts. The Ainu had a custom called Liomante. It is a ceremony where a bear cub is raised as a part of the family. Sometimes it may be nursed like any other infant, with breast milk. After 2 years, the bear is then sacrificed and viewed as a god. The colonist Japanese once thought that the Ainu crossed the species barrier and bred with wild animals to keep having hairy offspring. The Ainu culture has even made its way into anime. Golden Kamuy. This anime centers around an ex-military man who meets a girl from an Ainu tribe, and through her, he learns about the Ainu people. Almost each episode gives off different facts about their culture. As the slide before, I have put pictures on this slide to depict my main points. The first picture depicts an Ainu couple with their bear cub. The second picture depicts how the Japanese thought the Ainu had hairy children. You can see a young woman holding a bear cub as a male bear is beside her. Presumably, this is their unholy mixed breed hairy child. And the last picture depicts the anime I mentioned. I've only seen the first episode, and it seems to be really factual about the Ainu and their beliefs.